Three villains, three legends. Each one believes they are untouchable. But when raw cruelty, absolute intelligence, and god-level power collide, only one walks away. First is Ryomen's Sukuna, the king of curses from Jujutsu Kaisen. Sukuna isn't a hero or a traditional villain. He is destruction in its purest form. He doesn't follow rules, morals, or long-term plans. Sukuna lives to dominate, to destroy, and to prove that everything else is beneath him. The moment he enters a fight, it stops being a battle and turns into a massacre decided entirely by his will. Next comes Sōsuke Aizen from Bleach. Unlike Sukuna, Aizen is not driven by chaos, but by control. He is a master strategist and manipulator who transcended the limits of a Shinigami. Aizen doesn't rely on overpowering his enemies, he breaks them mentally first. By the time the fight truly begins, his opponent may already be trapped in his illusion, realizing too late that they never had control in the first place. And finally, there is Madara Uchiha, enhanced with Sage Mode. Madara is war incarnate, a shinobi who once fought entire armies without hesitation. Sage Mode pushes his already overwhelming abilities even further, enhancing his strength, speed, perception, and chakra control. Madara fights with calm precision, analyzing every move and crushing his enemies through experience and absolute confidence. And now, the real question is simple: who actually wins this fight? To understand these characters, we have to look at where they come from, because their origins define how they fight. Let's start with Sukuna. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna was once a human sorcerer from the golden age of Jujutsu. Even at the peak of that era, elite sorcerers couldn't kill him, only seal what remained. After death, his power split into 20 special-grade cursed fingers. When Yuji consumes one in Chapter 1, Sukuna doesn't weaken, he immediately asserts dominance. One truth is clear: Sukuna doesn't adapt to power, power adapts to him. Now let's move to Sōsuke Aizen. In Bleach, Aizen hides behind the image of a calm captain until Chapter 170 reveals everything was deception. His Zanpakuto, Kyouka Suigetsu, grants complete hypnosis, making reality unreliable. Aizen rejects the Soul King as a false god. His goal isn't chaos, it's transcendence. Through the Hōgyoku, he evolves beyond Shinigami and Hollow. Aizen's power comes from understanding reality and refusing to bow to it. Finally, Madara Uchiha. Forged in the Warring States period, Madara lost his brothers to endless war and concluded that peace built on trust will always fail. Revived through Edo Tensei, he overwhelms the Shinobi Alliance alone. Later, as the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he reaches Six Paths power. His belief never changes: true peace can only exist through absolute control. Before talking about abilities and hacks, we need to address the foundation of this fight: raw physical power. Because all three operate at a terrifying level, but they dominate the battlefield in very different ways. Sukuna relies on cursed energy-enhanced physicality rather than traditional martial technique. His movements are fast, brutal, and precise, capable of tearing through Grade 1 sorcerers and even special grade curses with ease. Even when he isn't relying on named techniques, his blows are infused with such dense cursed energy that opponents can be shredded instantly. What makes Sukuna especially dangerous is his durability and regeneration. With master-level reverse curse technique, he can recover from damage that would end most fighters. In close-range combat, where reaction time matters more than strategy, Sukuna thrives. And in his Heian-era form, with 4 arms, that close-quarters pressure becomes overwhelming. Now let's move to Madara Uchiha. After becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, Madara awakens Six Paths Sage Mode, bringing his physical abilities into God-tier territory. His strength, speed, perception, and stamina are massively amplified, allowing him to pressure both Six Paths Naruto and Rinnegan Sasuke at the same time.
Madara doesn't just hit hard, he sustains dominance. His near-limitless chakra reserves, combined with regeneration, allow him to fight at full intensity for prolonged periods. Add to that a lifetime of elite warfare experience, and Madara becomes the most physically complete combatant in this matchup. And then there's Sōsuke Aizen. At first glance, Aizen appears far less aggressive than the other two, but after fusing with the Hōgyoku, his body reaches a transcendent state. His durability, regeneration, and speed are absurd, allowing him to evade elite captains who Shunpo ranks among the fastest in Soul Society. Aizen doesn't rush, he doesn't overcommit. His Reiatsu alone can incapacitate weaker opponents, and instead of forcing exchanges, he allows his enemies to exhaust themselves while he remains nearly untouchable.
This is where the fight becomes truly unbalanced, because all three possess abilities that rewrite the rules of engagement. Starting with Sukuna. Sukuna's greatest weapons are his innate curse techniques. Cleave dynamically adjusts to an opponent's durability and cursed energy, allowing it to cut through even highly resistant targets. Dismantle functions as a rapid, ranged slicing attack. These slashes are invisible, near instantaneous, and can be fired in overwhelming volume. Then there's Malevolent Shrine. Sukuna's domain expansion creates a barrierless killing zone spanning roughly 200 meters, where slashes are guaranteed to strike everything within range. Combined with advanced reverse curse technique, Sukuna becomes a relentless executioner who adapts mid-fight and never slows down. Now, contrast that with Sōsuke Aizen. Before the battle even begins, Kyouka Suigetsu has already been released. Anyone who has witnessed its release is placed under complete hypnosis, Kanzen Saimin. Sight, sound, direction, timing, and spatial perception can all be manipulated without Aizen needing to reactivate the ability. Opponents may believe they are attacking Aizen directly, when in reality they are striking illusions, empty space, or even each other. Paired with the Hōgyoku's constant evolution and overwhelming Reiatsu, Aizen turns combat into a puzzle where only he knows what is real. And then there is Madara Uchiha at his peak. Six Paths Sage Mode grants Madara flight, enhanced perception, and access to truth-seeking orbs, which nullify chakra-based techniques and disintegrate matter on contact. His perfect Susanoo delivers mountain-cleaving offense in near-absolute defense, while his Rinnegan grants access to the Six Paths techniques. Most dangerously, Madara can summon Limbo clones, invisible counterparts existing in a parallel dimension that can physically interact with the world. Madara does not rely on a single win condition. He overwhelms opponents across multiple layers of reality at once. This fight isn't about who hits hardest, it's about who decides what the fight even is. Sōsuke Aizen reigns supreme here. He doesn't react to events, he engineers them. Aizen plans multiple steps ahead, feeding opponents false information while allowing them to believe they're in control. Through Kyouka Suigetsu, the very data his enemies rely on becomes corrupted. Against Aizen, perception itself is already weaponized. Madara Uchiha is a battlefield commander forged by endless war. He analyzes opponents rapidly, adapts in real time, and exploits openings with ruthless efficiency. His Sixth Path sensory abilities allow him to detect threats across vast ranges. Madara may not manipulate perception like Aizen, but he dominates through tactical pressure and flawless execution. Sukuna is a combat savant. He decodes techniques after limited exposure and exploits weaknesses without hesitation. His arrogance is deliberate, a form of psychological warfare, but it can leave him vulnerable to abilities that operate outside direct combat logic. The fight begins on a vast, neutral battlefield, nowhere to hide, and Aizen's Zanpakuto has been released long before either opponent arrives.
Sukuna moves first. Invisible slashes tear across the battlefield as he closes the distance. Madara responds instantly, Six Paths power flaring as truth-seeking orbs shift into attack formation. The collision alone sends shockwaves ripping through the terrain. Aizen hasn't moved, or so it seems. Both Sukuna and Madara believe they are pressuring the real Aizen, but Kyouka Suigetsu has already rewritten their perception. Their devastating attacks carve through illusions and false positions, while the real Aizen observes from safety. Madara releases limbo clones, unseen forces striking from a parallel dimension. Sukuna expands Malevolent Shrine, its slashes ravaging everything within range, forcing even Aizen to reposition as the battlefield collapses. But the truth becomes too late. Sukuna realizes his domain was targeting a fabricated position. Madara's Six Paths perception screams that the signatures don't align. Aizen steps forward, unharmed, his Hōgyoku already adapting as the fight unfolds. He waits, allowing Sukuna's cursed energy to drain and Madara's patterns to reveal themselves. This is no longer a battle of power. It is a battle of cognition. So who truly wins? Sukuna is lethal, armed with space-cutting techniques and a domain that guarantees destruction. Madara is a god-tier warlord, wielding overwhelming power and multi-dimensional tools. But both share a fatal weakness. They fight based on what they can perceive. And from the very first moment, that perception belongs to Sōsuke Aizen. Kyouka Suigetsu is not an illusion broken by willpower or superior senses. Within its own verse, the only known counter was preventing the hypnosis before it began. Sukuna's instincts and Madara's perception offer no protection against a reality already rewritten. Madara falls first, his colossal chakra reserves wasted battling phantoms. Sukuna lasts longer, his adaptability allowing him to threaten Aizen's evolved form, but he cannot strike what does not exist within his perception. Aizen waits, and when Sukuna finally lowers his guard, the fight ends. Final victor? Sōsuke Aizen. He doesn't win because he hits harder. He wins because he decides what real means. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more anime versus battles just like this. And now it's your turn. Do you agree with this result? Or do you think Sukuna or Madara should have won? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.